Hello everyone, I'm Chris with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the 5 things that I love about my Ducati V4R. Yes, my 2023 Ducati V4R. There are at least 5 things, definitely more, that I love, that are the best, that just make you go, yes, this is the bike. Let's get into them. First and foremost, we have to talk about the looks because there's nothing subjective here. It is gorgeous. And unless you just don't like beautiful bikes, well, then I guess it is subjective. But I have to say it is one of the most stunning bikes. As you look at the angles, all the fins there, this open clutch cover, the single-sided swing arm, come up over the tail here. It is just a beautiful bike, even on the ugly, quote-unquote ugly side of the bike that no one ever looks at. It's still stunning. And then you just kind of swing around to the front, and you look at it and go, oh my God, is that beautiful. The front end, the nose, the lights that I complained about. It's all just beautiful. And you come up to the tank and you just kind of look over it. And it's just a sleek thing. The V4s and the Panigales have all just kind of expanded over time. Like the 1299, 1199 were much more narrow through here, but it's still gorgeous. The next thing that I love about this 2023 Ducati V4R is the power delivery. It is honestly one of the most approachable and ride easy V4s or Panigales that I've honestly ridden. And again, I owned 1199, 1299, the V4S Speciale. I've ridden the Superleggeras, and this thing is probably one of the easiest to rides. And I know in 2020, 2021, they really revised a lot of the mapping. And that's something you wouldn't normally say about a Panigale, is how easy it is to ride, but it really is. Yes, it's a V4R and it seems intimidating, but once you get on it, honestly, when I hopped on it, I felt right at home. And most people that have ridden it for any period of time, once they get over, the sticker shock, oh my God, I'm on an expensive bike, they say the same thing. It's so composed. The power delivery is so smooth. This almost feels like an inline 4 power delivery, but it still has enough character in it that Ducati has to give you something special when you twist the throttle. And it just picks up like a freaking freight train. Yes, a lot of the power is in the high end, but that doesn't mean down low it's weak, because it isn't. It's still got that grunt down low, just not in the same way that a V4S would. So like around the town, the V4S is a little better, but honestly, I didn't really find a need to be in crazy high revs riding the street. The motor is so smooth that it really didn't matter. It spun up so quick that even if you're in lower RPM, it got to where it needed to be in the power band pretty quickly. So the power delivery is number 2. The third thing is honestly the overall chassis and braking feel of this bike. The chassis is super stable, entry, quarter entry, mid corner and exit, because again, you don't have that crazy amount of torque coming out of corners that doesn't get all squirrely like the V4S and the older Panigales used to. And then quarter entry, the front end is so stable, like you see the dive plane and the wings, you're like, oh, they don't use anything. Honestly, under high-speed braking, it seems super stable, and I'm going to attribute to the wings and the electronics we'll get into later. But just the way this whole bike feels in every aspect of riding, it's super comfortable and confidence-inspiring. Like, you feel awesome on it right away. You think you're Rossi, obviously I'm not, and pictures don't lie. But it just, I got on it and immediately felt at home riding this V4R. And then we get to the brakes. The brakes are insane. I love them. They have a great bite to them initially, and then they just get stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm not a fan of bikes that have just a little play and then they start to get stronger. This one has that strong initial bite, and I keep saying it's strong, but it is. It's really the only way to describe it is you grab them, you're like, okay, they're working, and you can lean on them and lean on them and lean on them. And with me riding it, I've never felt any brake fade. And honestly, I don't know. I don't think I'm nearly fast enough to ever experience it, but the brakes on this are just phenomenal. And you couple that again with the chassis, it's just such an amazing package straight out of the crate. The fourth thing that I love about the V4R is the electronics. And I mean, everything that's encompassed in that phrase, from the stability control, traction control, wheelie control, engine braking, all of the mapping that they've done to this V4R. And again, in stock form, I know with the exhaust, it opens everything up and makes it even more flowing and more beautiful. But with the way that this is stock, I'm not at the level. I mean, I'm trying to get there and learn. So I have no desire to put the exhaust on. All of you that keep saying to, one day it's 208 horsepower. I personally don't need any more. But the electronics, they're so good. They don't feel invasive. When I had this bike slide a few times at track a couple weeks ago, it slid and then caught. It didn't really kill the power to where you were like, okay, well, the Aprilia that I had, the RSV4 1100 factory, that did kill the power. I'd come out of turns and you just feel it just kind of die and then pick up and go. And this is so seamless that it kills power. You know it does, but it doesn't feel like anything. Like the HB4 race, when you would do something, you'd hear the audible, like hear it intervene. Even though you don't feel you would hear this, you don't even hear it. It just works beautifully. On top of that, I think the dash is amazing. I think it's super clean and easy. In track mode, again, the tack, it just shows you what you need. Nothing too much, no frills, nothing crazy. It's just simple and it works. It's just a really good layout, you know? The electronics packages in this from the factory. I mean, sure, you can go get a race set up and then go from there. I do wish there were some sensors you can get from Ducati like you can with BMW to put on all the different areas of your bike and just make it a nerd's telemetry dream. But without it, it's still just phenomenal out of the box. The fifth and final thing is the culture. Ducati as a brand as a whole, some people on the outside looking in might think we're pretentious and think we're the most amazing thing ever. I mean, hell, I'm wearing a Ducati shirt. I can see that and understand it, but that's just not the case. It's probably one of the most inclusive groups of people you'll meet. There's people with every generation of Ducati, and they share the same passion of a bike that when they get on it and they ride it, they feel something special. And that's sort of what the brand is all about. And to me, that's what really sells the bike. I love the people around this bike, the Phoenix Ducati Club, the Tucson Ducati Club. Like they're just great people that enjoy machines like this and can appreciate what this bike is, and then also appreciate where it's come from the generations before. The only thing that equates to that, I think, in cars is the NSX Club, because there's really only 2 or 3 generations of those, and the Porsches. Everyone knows what the GT3 is now, and then what a 958 was before. I probably screwed up that number. I don't remember them all, but you get it. The old school 911s up to the new school 911s. Everyone appreciates from the old to the new. And it's just a culture that really embraces that brand. I urge you to find another brand that really does what Ducati, Porsche, NSX really does for their people. I mean, heck, Ducati Island at Coda, the Ducati racing experience, when you buy like a Superleggera, heck, even one of these, you can go out to Mugello and go ride. Like, that's amazing. KTM, I think, does it with the RC8C. That's a pretty cool experience, so I'll give you that. But just the culture in general, I love the bike. I love getting on it. I love feeling special when I ride it. And that's something that you can't really quantify with numbers or anything. It's just a feeling you get. Most Ducatis do that. I haven't really ridden one aside from the, if you have one of these, I'm sorry, the 1100 Scramblers, I'm not a fan of them. I don't think they do anything. And I'm not a huge fan of the Monsters, is what it is. But aside from them, they're all just a little special. They either have a weird quirk about them. Some people might find them as an issue, but to us owners, they're just what makes them more unique and more just special in a way. And yes, they're crazy expensive. I do think this is wildly overpriced when the BMW M1000RR is like 36 or 38 grand. This is a 45 now. So yeah, is it overpriced? Yeah, a little bit, I think. But I mean, you're also paying for the name and experience. It's kind of like getting a Lamborghini. It's got all Audi parts, an R8 and a Huracan. Huracan's 40 grand more. Same car. Go figure. But I hope you guys enjoyed this love video. I know I got so many comments about the hate and the heat about this bike. I don't care. That's the whole point of it. You have to be able to look at these objectively first and then just pour in what you love about them. That's the easy part, right? So with that, I hope you all enjoy this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.